Right, good day and let's welcome everybody to yet again another exciting show on the Madiba official channel. And please, if you've not already subscribed to the channel, kindly click on the subscribe button and turn on the post notification button for videos like this and many more. Now, we are into the Black Stars, that's the under 20 of Ghana. We've talked about the Black Stars of Ghana quite recently and the brouhaha that ensued after Ghana was eliminated in the 2022 World Cup that's currently going on. We are turning our attention into the feeder side of the Black Stars, and that is the under 20. I always have this notion that the background or the backbone of each and every national team is the under 20, not the under 23 or under 17, because the under 20 said to serve as the ground that projects and give the players the platform for them to be able to get the jump into the senior side. So if you look at most of the national teams that are doing well currently, a chunk of the players did well for the under 20s and they were eventually drafted into their senior side. And Ghana, we have our own, because Ghana as a nation, since we made our AFCON debut and since we started playing qualifiers for the World Cup, we tried even when we were dominating African football in the early 60s to the late 60s and even the early 70s. Ghana was yet to make their mark on the world stage, that's the World Cup. The likes of Zaire qualified to the World Cup in 1974. We saw Tunisia, Morocco, and the likes qualifying. But Ghana as a country couldn't make our mark until we had that 5-year development plan under the late FA Kapu, Ben Kofi. He laid down that 5-year development plan, and that the 20 side of that is Michael Essien, Sule Ali Muntari, John Pentel, Razak Pimpon, Derek Boateng. They served as the backbone of the side that eventually qualified Ghana to a maiden edition of the World Cup in 2006. So what it means is that when we laid down that platform or that 5-year developmental plan, we saw the dividend of it. That was the qualification to the World Cup of 2006. Now, we went further in 2009 when we had a strong under 20 led by Celastete. And if you quite remember, that under 20 side, because it was made up of players that were super talented. Under 17, they made a transition to the under 20, and those players, the likes of Dominic Edia, Ransford Osei, Daniel Paretewia, Jonathan Mensah, Daniel Eje, Samuel Inkum, Ali Adi. You look at the likes of Opoku Ajamai, Emmanuel Ajmabedu, the captain himself, Andre Dede Ayu, the current captain of the Black Stars. With these players from the under 20, because of how well that we took the under 20 and how well that we did on the world stage at the youth level, they were able to replicate the same form when we went to Angola 2010. They reached the grand finale where they eventually lost to Egypt by a goal to nil. Mohamed Ghedo scoring the only goal for the Egyptians. That same year in the World Cup, the same most of the players from the 20, as I mentioned earlier, that made up the cup of the Black Stars team in 2010, took Ghana into the quarterfinals and they were kicked away from the semi-finals of the World Cup. So it means that if you are to do well and make sure that we have a strong under 20, our Black Stars always fare well. And now the Black Stars is not doing well because we lack the under 20, or we lack on the under 20 level, because at under 20 we don't have the quality players over there, because the tactical nous of the under 20 has always not been there since Celeste left the fray. Karim Zito did very well when he won Ghana the under 20 championship in Mauritania. He did very well, but he couldn't give us players that we thought we could. Now with the appointment of Samuel Boadu, I think it's a step in the right direction. This is a young man that has shown his credentials. He has shown that he is capable of bringing up talent for the Black Stars and also giving us players for years to come. Because as I said, the Black Stars is under transition, and when you are in your transition year from the senior side, you need players from the under 20 to fill up the gap that will be left by the senior players in the Black Stars or the senior national team, and who rather better than Samuel Boadu to do the job for you. As I was saying, the under 20 has always served Ghana right, and Samuel Boadu have showed his credentials at Mediama SC. He made sure he nurtured a talented group of players, Rashid Notte and Elias and El Kwakwa, to mention a few. With all these players, whenever that he challenged for the Ghana Premier League, he was always around the top 2 sides, the Ghana Premier League. His team always fared well. He jumped ship from Mediama to Hazelfolk, and for the first time in about 11-12 years, he led the Rainbow team to win the Ghana Premier League and also win the FA Cup, thereby win the treble for Hazelfolk as a club. Then also, the following year, even when things wasn't going well for him, he won the FA Cup for Hazelfolk. This season, he was booted out because they thought he didn't start the season very well. But it has happened to him before at Mediama. The last season that he was at Mediama, he didn't start the season very well, but ended up being placed at as part of the top 2, the top 3 side, the Ghana Premier League. So if you look at the current coaches in Ghana, then you can go undoubtedly choose him as the best of the bunch. Here alongside Prosper Nat Ogum. So his appointment comes to with no surprise to me, because as I said earlier on, it's a very good step that the FA has taken, because they've seen his potential and they didn't want it to go to waste. Karim Zito has been reappointed as the coach of under 17, thereby giving that position to Samuel Boadu, and for me, I think he'll do a decent job, and it's a very good appointment that if he is to do well with it, he also makes sure he enrich his CV going forward. So for me, this appointment is a very good one. It's time for Samuel Boadu to also show what he can do with the national side. One thing that I would also entreat him to do is that he has to do away with his temperament. At times, his temperament get the better of him. This national side is going to deal with young players, so he has to make sure that he will be able to calm his temper and cool it down, and make sure that he will do the job with clear mindset, clear conscience. And for me, I think the Ghana Black Star Lions will be thriving on the right direction. Let me know your views on the appointment of Samuel Boadu as the head coach of the Black Stars. Don't forget that Fatau Dauda has been appointed as the goalkeepers coach.